AI is here, and AI is here to stay. AI has so many fails, but it's not the fault of AI. It is the fault that we have with our expectations with AI. When we hear about artificial intelligence, we think intelligence, we think of something with a face. It might be a cute little girl, or it might be a rundown cyborg that wants to destroy us all. But we give it a face, and because we give it a face, we have an emotional connection to it, an emotional relationship with it. That's why we trust it, or we despise it, or we hate it. This gives us unrealistic expectations for AI. AI, especially the intelligence behind AI, is just a bunch of things interconnected with another bunch of things, all meshed together. That's all it is. There is no intelligence to AI. There is nothing human about AI. So we should stop treating it as being an equivalent of a human, of having human intelligence. We have to realign our expectations and use the tool in a much better way. We need to better manage our expectations for using the AI tools. Google lost $90 billion worth of market value because its artificial intelligence, its Gemini, produced some pretty controversial stuff. Things about black Nazis and things about pedophilia. People didn't take kindly to that. But this shouldn't be unexpected. AI is just a tool. And this $90 billion market value number is a good indication of how unrealistic our expectations are for using AI, for using the tool. Just because we call it artificial intelligence doesn't mean it's intelligent. Let's get into the main fails for artificial intelligence. Number 5, AI likes saying different things are the same and the same things are different. The reason why AI does this is that it takes a concept and breaks it down into pieces, and the similarities and the differences, well, they are lost in the breakdown. So AI doesn't even know that those things exist. So AI will jump the gun, make conclusions that say some things are similar, some things are different, or it might even mix up things altogether, saying that they're equivalent. For instance, if you wanted AI to talk about ethics and morals, you will find that AI will use those terms interchangeably in its explanation. The same thing if you were to use AI for project management training versus leadership training, you will find a very strong impression that program management and leadership is equivalent in a lot of areas, which is not the case if you know how to do one versus the other. AI likes to mix things up. You got to make sure when you look at AI that it is doing those comparisons, those equivalencies, those differences. They are doing them the right way. Because if you don't, you're going to come to the wrong conclusion. The number 4 fail for AI is that AI knows what's popular. It doesn't know what's correct, and it sure doesn't know what's right. Just what's popular. When AI is taught, when it is trained, it goes through large amounts of data to look for patterns within that data. If it sees a piece of data that shows up more often than something else, the AI is going to assume that data is more important and that it is more correct. And that's often not the case. Data sets are noisy. They have gaps. They have bad data in there. And often the bad data overshadows the good data. So the AI makes some ridiculous assumptions. For instance, in a data set, if you have these news articles, you could see keywords like DEI and Nazi show up in the same article all the time. And this might give the AI a pattern, a strong connection between the two, that they are related, that DEI and Nazis are related. And what's the result? We get black Nazis, which has nothing to do with Nazis. Nazis, Germany. But the AI doesn't have common sense. AI only knows what is extrapolated from the data. It doesn't know the original source or historic context of that data. It just doesn't. The AI doesn't have common sense. So when you are looking at data, when you are looking at the artificial intelligence and what it produces, you have to take into consideration that if it is saying popular things, that it is outright wrong. You need to make sure that the AI gives out balanced strategies, balanced steps, and balanced judgments. The number 3 fail for AI is that AI assembles things wrong. When AI gives you a solution, all those pieces will be the correct pieces, but they'll have the wrong priority, or they might be interconnected in the wrong way, and the overall assembly of the idea of the solution is in the wrong order. This is pretty typical with AI. And you can see this when you want the AI to generate a piece of code, or a strategy, a plan, a course. This is pretty common with AI. And it's very obvious that AI doesn't know the secret sauce for a solution. It doesn't have that subject matter expertise. We need to have that expertise. So it should be expected that when we get something from AI, we're getting all the pieces that we need from the AI. Then we reassemble and we improve on what the AI has produced. That is where our value is, and that's how we should be using AI. The number 2 fail for AI is word order. When you interact with AI, you have to order your commands, your words, your instructions, your code in a specific way. AI assumes what you give first is more important than what you give second. So if I was to type in project training into a chat AI, then it would think project is more important than training, and then it would give me a specific result. But if I was to type training project, I'll get a different result, often very different result, especially if I put in management project training versus project management training. The order becomes extremely important. The AI doesn't have the common sense to know what are the important words or how to process those important words. It is guessing. So when we are using AI, we have to be very cautious on putting the right words, the more important words, first within our prompts, within our interactions, within our code. And the number 1 fail for AI is that AI likes to narrow things down to identify a solution. When we put together a solution, we don't really do that. We have a conversation where we go from general to specific, back to general again. We oscillate back and forth. AI doesn't do that. AI goes to optimize. It narrows down. So it can only go in one direction. It can't do the oscillation. So this can run us into some trouble when we forget to do that, where we forget to reset our chat or reset our history so that AI is going from general to specific. We can end up having the AI narrow down to a very bad solution. Here's an example. 6 divided by 2 times 1 plus 2. The answer is 9. It's not 1. But because I gave the chat AI enough history with the specific prompts, I was able to get the chat AI to come with the solution of 1. And that's wrong. It's not important to like AI. It's not important to distrust AI. What's important is that you treat AI as the tool it is. AI, artificial intelligence, that intelligence part is just a bunch of things interconnected together with another bunch of things. It is a model, an extrapolation of data. That's all it is. AI only knows what's been extrapolated. It does not know about the original data. It doesn't know the historic context. That's why we get black Nazis, black popes. That's why we get these weird things involving ethics and morality from AI. AI just does not have the common sense. It just does not have the intelligence. AI doesn't know the secret sauce. We know the secret sauce. That's where our subject matter expertise comes into play. And we should be expected to use our subject matter expertise. AI is good for a few things. It gives us all the pieces, allowing us to reassemble all those pieces in the right way. But we should not expect more than that from AI, at least not yet.